So, as you can see, I'm in the process of putting the final touches to the Matt and Jordan interview. I would also like to say thank you very much to Matt and Jordan and the Leeds Knights for allowing this to happen. Very much appreciate it. It was, in my opinion, one of the better interviews we've done. Not a knock on Toby, but it was just obviously good to have active players who are still playing in the leagues, obviously taking part in interviews so you can see a different side of them. So without further ado, please enjoy this video. I kind of have a total brain fart of how to start the meetings and how to...
Good evening, good afternoon, good night.
Yeah. Good evening, hockey fans.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Matt and Jordan, and obviously we're going to have a wee interview today, so thanks very much for coming. Have you got enough tea? Have you got enough biscuits?
A bit hot, yeah.
Right, so obviously I'm not going to go into like major depth with a lot of things. The questions are pretty tame, just in case anyone thought we were going to be ripping into teams or whatever else. That's not going to be happening here. So just quickly to start off with, then we'll start off with the first question. So what got you into playing hockey?
I'll go first. My dad's auntie and uncle lived in Canada for a while, and then they came back. They moved back over, and then realised there was a team in Sheffield, obviously the Steelers, and we went to watch a game, and then that was me. Me and my brother just wanted to play and figured out how to ski, and just went in the junior system there and never really looked back.
Cool. Jordan?
Yeah, for me, well, it was my dad. My dad played. He played at a young age for the Bruins a little bit, a couple of games, and the kind of the B team there. And he's always just brought me along as soon as I could walk. That was me. I was in skates. So, but the funny story there, my dad got into it because obviously he's Spanish, so it's not really the most common sport back then. So when he moved over here, they lived in a flat in Ayr, and above that was the Ayr Bruins 3 Imports stayed. And that's how they got into it, was because my gran went up and helped them with their kind of washing, putting out in the line for them properly and stuff. And then they gave him free tickets for the game. And then he went to watch it, and that was him hooked since then. So pretty unique way to get into hockey, I guess.
So obviously then that kind of answers the question, have you got any relatives in ice hockey? And obviously you've answered that your brother plays and obviously your dad plays, yeah. And unfortunately I played alongside your dad, so
you know all about him.
I know all about him. So who were your biggest influences on your career?
Well, for me it was my dad. Easy for it. Just he was taking me up and down the country and kind of sacrificed a lot of his time, effort, and put it into me. So I mean, I owe a lot to him for where I am now. Just to, even days where it was like I struggled to get to training or something like that, like, oh, I'm too tired. He's just not dragged me there physically, but basically everything but just come on, get going. So, but I mean, I'm thankful that he did put all that effort into me, and I'm sure maybe he was the same now.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to say, parents. I think both mum and dad give up a lot of time, spend a lot of money getting me to and from everywhere. I'm pretty sure John's the same. Could be in Newcastle one game and drive down to Coventry like 5 hours later or whatever. Which is being a dad now, it's crazy to think that they would do that for me. But obviously, my brother, growing up, always wanted to be better than him, and a little bit of competition. But
who's the youngest? Or
yeah, I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest.
So I always wanted to be trying to be better than him, but
I think you ticked that box.
Well, I don't know. He's
different styles.
Different styles.
Obviously playing with both of them now. Played with Lee for a season in Sheffield, and yeah, definitely different sort of styles.
I think he's actually. I think he's better than what people give him credit for as well. Just because he gets pigeonholed into this little. Well, I'm sure everyone that watches the league knows what kind of player he is, but he's very good actually.
He is. He's a really good player. Well, off the ice, he's completely.
Yeah, he's more shy than I am off the ice actually. Yeah, I think coach-wise, though, I've got to mention one of my junior coaches growing up, Jonathan Rowbottom. He's not really involved anymore, but he during that Sheffield era, he was the main coach that everyone kind of. He's brought a lot of guys who've been elite league players and EPL players and whatever, and anyone from Ben O'Connor was there, Ben Bounds, everyone. I think everyone would say that he had a massive influence, showing everybody how like hard work. You needed to work hard before you even actually, and it made hockey fun.
Yep.
That's any advice I'd give to any youngster is
make sure it's fun.
Make sure it's fun.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Jordan? Coaches wise, any coaches you'd like to say thanks to?
Yeah, well,
Danny McAllister for putting the fear into you.
I know. His big skates and that, I know. So that was interesting, good fun. He used to help out and coach. But yeah, obviously my dad, he'd coached me the whole way through till I was about 14. And then when I was 15, I went over and played in Canada for a year. My coach was Darcy Tucker, so big Maple Leaf kind of legend really. And he was just so eye-opening to like just be able to work with them and see how much different like going over there and adapting to the hockey they play at our age, and it was eye-opening. And then also when I came back the next year, it was Ryan Finnerty kind of got me into the clan, and I was always kind of round about it as like, you know, I don't know, playing mini sticks and
we always joke actually that Jordan was one of the mascots when I started playing for the club.
I know.
We actually had this talk just before
he was bigger than I was.
Before you came in, we were saying that Jordan's about 9-year pro now, and you're about nearly 13, 14-year pro.
19, so yeah.
Yeah.
This is my 14th year.
Scary. Absolutely scary. So who would you say you looked up to when you were younger, especially in ice hockey? Is there any players that you say that when you were watching games that stood out? And
I think all the old Steelers players. Steelers were like my idols kind of growing up. Tommy Plummer was one that kind of stuck out to me. He was one of the guys he was number 11 too. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but yeah, he was. I just remember the crowd. I was like just chanting his chant and stuff like that. But apart from like a big team, I think definitely having an older brother helped spur me on. Like I wasn't paying attention to I was just trying to be as good as he was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely helped.
Yeah, for me, well, really young, I was number 12, so I used to look up to Joe McGinley, so it was kind of, I used to try and play the way that he kind of played, and kind of a bit of everything, could score, can assist, can hit and stuff like that. So for me, that was kind of my idol when I was really young. I was 5-year-old, and I picked my number because of him, and then obviously then growing up, then watching the clan, obviously I would look up to guys like Matt, and there was obviously it's just true. When I was 10-year-old, and that's who you look up to. That was kind of my first experience watching professional hockey, because before it would really only be, I think it was Edinburgh before, but I think never really used to go up until after the clan started, and we would go up to Edinburgh when they were playing away games and stuff. So I mean, obviously there was Matt, the coach Bruce Richardson. He was, you'll know he's an intense guy, and he was, but I mean, you see the way he just laid it all on the ice, and there was he wasn't never taking like a shift off and stuff like that.
He was an intense guy, but he was great.
So I mean, then kind of guys like John Kristanovich as well, watching them, and then like a Drew Miller coming in, like seeing like an NHL caliber player like coming to play in Scotland. You're like right there and then, not somebody that's kind of been there and done it. It's like it was
it was a bit different actually. You had a reputation there having like a retirement league back then, and to have somebody that lock out, and there was a few in that season. I mean, there was one guy in Coventry, one guy in Nottingham.
Was it Bissonnette? Biznasty, he was there.
Yeah, he's in Cardiff, that's right, yeah. He scored a hat-trick against his first game.
I think it was Bolesky was in Coventry, but then he went back to the NHL, and I think he actually became a completely different player. He kind of got a lot better and scored more points and stuff like that. So
something I get told it was when Drew Miller came over here, he was obviously the rink being bigger. That was something that he had to get used to, and the fact that him being like a third or fourth line player, he wasn't getting much ice, but it was kind of like looked upon to try and be one of the kind of more impact players.
Actually, I remember that. I remember we played Fife in one of his first games, and he kind of walked in, and he was so because it was obviously an older rink, and he hasn't seen that for probably since he played junior level, and he was FaceTiming all the Red Wing guys like Zetterberg and everything.
I heard he had Snapchatted Bertuzzi and was talking to Bertuzzi, telling him, he's like, look at this shithole that we're playing in.
Well, you said that, not me.
It's a well-known fact that Paisley back in the day hated Fife, so it's kind of like carried on a little bit. So right, this is a kind of strange question, but what is your biggest regret in ice hockey? Like, it could be not taking an opportunity to go somewhere, or
quite recently me hitting the post to win the playoffs in Coventry, like this season. That was not a regret, but it was just that's
just one of those things.
Yeah, I know. Just it was
maybe my biggest regret. I don't really have a regret. I'm really quite pleased with what's gone on, but maybe if I had the opportunity to go abroad to play when I was younger, maybe going to Canada or America when I kind of should have. I mean, and not wait too long. But it's difficult. I mean, like, not everybody's got that chance to do it. Not everyone's family can afford to do that. But I wasn't privileged enough to have that opportunity, and kind of went the hard way and went through the ranks. But yeah, I would say hard to say a regret when you've got.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, hockey's given me so much. I've effectively got a family from hockey. You know, like so the decisions I've made has came good for me. So that's probably any regret is not branching out and trying somewhere different before coming back to the elite league, or anywhere really over in the UK where it's always going to be there. You know.
So, what is your most fondest memory of your career so far?
For me, like that was winning the league this year with Leeds. That was a big moment for me because that was kind of since playing in Solway when we won the league there, and then to win the league, obviously division higher from the NHL 1 to the NHL was kind of massive, and for me personally, and just for being able to contribute a lot to that as well makes it feel special, rather than just kind of being there sitting on the sidelines and kind of collecting a medal. But it's for me that was kind of a big moment.
I felt like that when we won it the first year in Leeds. I obviously wasn't well since I've won something. I grew up in juniors winning quite a lot, and then unfortunately we didn't win anything when we played for Brayhead Glasgow. So being able to win that first one in Leeds is quite a bit of a weird feeling, really. But obviously they're a good bunch down there, and they deserve it a lot. It's a very well run club. Actually, it's an elite league standard club, which is quite rare sometimes in that league. There's maybe only a handful that is run as an elite league kind of club and can sustain that. So yeah, it's great. But probably, I'd say my proudest moment would probably be going away with the national team for we went to Eindhoven, and to represent your country. I've obviously Jordan and I've done it under 18s, under 20s, but to actually do it for the men kind of feels a little bit different. It kind of almost feels like it's the highest you're ever going to get. And I think we were like 3 minutes away from winning gold and ended up winning silver or something like that. So it was a bit. This was before I think it was Pete's first year, so it was before the Pete revolution kind of came. So yeah, I mean, I think that's probably my proudest moment.
Right, cool. So, most memorable match?
For what reason?
For any reason. It could be something funny that happened in it, as a fight, or scoring a specific goal to make you go ahead, or, as Jordan said, hit the post and not score.
Well, I can reverse that one when we'd always used to go to the Sheffield tournament, kind of when I was juniors in North there, every summer, and every year that would be the same. It'd be Sheffield win it, Sheffield win it, Sheffield win it, until eventually one year we went with the North Air under 16s, and we managed to take it to overtime, and then I scored the winning goal in overtime. So that was it was a pretty cool experience at that age, doing that, because I was saying Sheffield are always a very strong team, like juniors wise, or even from his age now, my age too. So that was a pretty cool one for me.
Nothing really good stands out for me. Maybe I remember getting thrown out against Fife, thrown the net one bit. That's probably one reason it sticks out in my mind. Never tapped opposite.
Was that a specific referee call, or was it something?
I didn't even see the ref there. I'll tell you, to be honest. I just threw the net, and the ref happened to skip it. But I wouldn't throw a net at a referee. But I was angry at the call.
That was against Fife, wasn't it? I was playing for Fife that time, I remember
we
that.
We were on a penalty kill, I think, and the puck went out, and nobody saw it. And then obviously went to score with like 2 seconds left, and
that's right.
I happened just to be at the net, and I just threw it. I obviously regret the decision to do it, but looking back, it's quite funny actually. I got banned for a game actually. That's the first one.
Did you?
Ever been banned? Yeah, I was on the way to Dundee the next day, and Pete came back to the bus and was like, "Yeah, you're not playing today, so you've been banned." I'm like, I felt
Nice guy, Matt,
I felt
getting a ban.
I felt like a naughty school kid. I've never been banned before in my
No.
life.
we had a funny incident happen at one of our games, one of the rec games, the team, the Mustangs I play for. So we were 7 each in a game, and there was a goal that went in that didn't go in. It was actually Mark Alexander that was refereeing. You know Mark. So the puck went under the side of the net in Kilmarnock, and it went under, and they gave the goal. So the goalie snapped his stick on the post and threw his stick. And when the stick went up, it hit the other referee because it was a 4-man system that was on, and he got thrown out the game. And there was like 5 minutes left, and they're like, "What are we going to do? We've got no goalie. We've just went 7-8." It's like, so we ended up we had to apologise to the referee to be able to allow for us to keep the goalie for the rest of the game. But it was funny. So, what's your favourite ice rink in the UK?
Easy. Leeds, no?
Oh, Leeds don't escape very
The
far,
castle.
Leeds, yeah, the castle.
Tell you what, it gets. I've never heard that place so loud.
It's getting loud. It's kind of like it's the same building as the Big Blue Tent.
Yeah.
They obviously, so it was. I remember that getting loud when like Bradford were running around trying to kill people, and yeah, it's very similar actually, isn't it? Like it gets, especially when we get like a bit of momentum, when we get two or three early, and we're a big factor. Actually, it's very loud. Elite League rink.
Not Fife. Saying that, the atmosphere in Fife's good.
Glasgow's probably the perfect size rink for that league. Obviously, Sheffield's good when it's sold out and stuff. It's pretty cool to play in front of 9,000.
Yeah.
Obviously, growing up, being a part of that 9,000 is quite a surreal feeling to begin with. But it's also very big. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah. No, Glasgow's it's really nice to play in, isn't it?
It's good ice. It's good.
Good atmosphere, obviously, as well.
It's quite very privileged for that to be your home rink for a while. Actually, it's good. And obviously, the rivalry with Fife was good. Going into Fife, having that hostile atmosphere and stuff, it was great. It was always really cool. But the building in Fife obviously wasn't as good as others.
I think when you're playing for Fife, it definitely you use it as an advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like people come in, they don't want to be there. It's like the fans are on you, and
it's cold.
It's cold. It's freezing. But it's got that history to it where it's like you can't really just replicate that. And it's
very similar to how like Peterborough is in that second England. It's freezing, especially if you go there in like December. It's like freezing. Like takes you at least a period to warm up, and you're like 2-0 down.
I see when we get there. I noticed last year you'd be sitting there and you'd be like this. You'd be like sitting there for a good 10 minutes, and I'm like, you got a hot water bottle or something underneath?
Underneath,
to get you warm. Yeah. So,
well, a fun story actually. We were in Coventry once, and Alex Levitt. It was so cold. He was trying to do that while that's where I kind of got it from. And then he was joking the whole time that he was going to wear his coat like a big puffer jacket on warm up because he was so cold. And then we were all like laughing, thinking it's funny. And then we were out for warm up, and he comes out hood up. I couldn't believe it.
He was like,
he was when he came back to my testimonial. He was so funny. But to answer your question, I'd definitely say Leeds is definitely up there. I actually quite like London in that league, but I think the ice is really good in London.
Yeah, it's just new, isn't it?
It's just new. Yeah, Cardiff, some good rinks, there's some bad rinks as well. But Belfast is good. Yeah. I'd probably say Belfast.
Have you had the chance to skate at the time capsule yet? How did you think that in comparison to Braehead size wise?
Well, we did a 3-on-3 summer skate actually,
and there's still too many people on ice.
Barry took me along to that because that's my new skates out. It's actually quite good for summer though. It's like it happens quick, doesn't it? Yeah. Kind of like how Manchester used to be in the Elite League when everyone's like just pinging around like ping pong.
Yeah. We played rec games in there, so 3 referees, sometimes 4, and 5-on-5.
Oh, no.
It's horrible. It's like cricket scores.
Yeah.
You literally get the puck shooting as you can score from anywhere.
We played in Grimsby. Ever played in Grimsby?
No.
They have a tractor with a wet cloth on the back for us, and you can't warm up at the same time as the other team because it's so small. One has to have 10 minutes in the other.
That is brutal.
That's funny.
There's a funny story I had been told about. Danny McAllister had told me when he was down playing, I think it was Billingham. It might have been Billingham or Bracknell or something like that. When he went down, they'd cut the ice or they would flood it before the game, and the ice tech used to kind of like flood the benches like Flint, like before they would come down. "Hey, I've washed the benches down for you. It's cool. Don't worry about it. You're going on. You're soaking all the way right through it." But
Might have been right Aldridge with the Pregame.
Oh, was it? Probably.
Sounds like something.
So, have you got any pre-game rituals or superstitions?
No, I think we enjoyed it pretty late back. We're probably the two that just kind of sit there. We used to play two-touch, but that in Leeds, it's
vicious.
It's vicious, and it's too many people for me. 90% of the team plays, so you get like one kick every 10 minutes. But,
So, no pre-game.
yeah, not really.
Yorkshire tea, biscuits.
Yeah, I'll have a cup of tea when I get to the ring, but I don't have to do it. I'd probably put my left side on first, but I don't think that's a superstition. I think that's just kind of getting used to.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'm the same. What about you?
I'm the right side.
You're right side,
Yeah.
everything right side. I actually had a customer shout at me before. I'm OCD when I do heat molds, and usually I'll put the skates on for the customer and what have you. This customer come in and I says to her, "Do you mind if I put left on first?" "No, it has to be right." I says, "But I've got OCD. I need to do left first." And she's like, "Well, I've got OCD, and the customer's always right. Put the right one on." So,
Well, your left is her right.
yeah, exactly. So, do you feel the game is more or less physical now than what it was when you were younger?
Or less.
Less physical.
Yeah, it's too fast now. I think the rule changes have helped that as well. I know when I was growing up, when I first started playing men's hockey, that you could stick in between your legs and just grab and just follow you around and hold you and stuff like that. And now it's obviously, I think the game's too fast to be. I think that maybe like big hits are probably bigger now, because obviously everyone's faster and the equipment's better and stuff. But I think as a whole, I think it's probably less, and there's definitely less fighting.
Yeah.
Which is open to interpretation.
Yeah. I think especially our league does get physical and the rivalries and stuff, it does get very heated, but I think like with the DOPs, the enforcing pretty heavy bans where people are kind of starting to pull back now and just be like, is it worth really missing 2 months of the season for one big hit where you're like, so I definitely like Matt's saying, it's a lot quicker now than.
Do you guys have a specific ban for fights or something like that? Do you?
In that league, it's not like individually. It's kind of like a tier system. So, like, ironically, you could get way more of a ban for like a accidental hit to the head than you would do for something quite sinister, like a
Potentially.
obviously, it's to do with concussions and stuff like that. I get that, but there was once, I think, a couple of years ago, the whole import is obviously 6 foot. How big's Spec? He's 6'4", 6'5", big boy, and he just literally hit another guy who's 6'2", 6'3", but wasn't a bad hit. He just happened to kind of mistime it, hit his head, and he got like a 10-game ban, and
I mean, that was his first game.
Yeah, his first game from being in LA. It was just maybe a bit of common sense needed there, but again, that's another topic that.
I know that obviously with the rec leagues and stuff like that up here now, if you have one fight at all, if you even throw a punch at somebody's face, you get 6 games or 2 months, whatever's longest.
I think
or
if
5
it's
games
willing combatants, I don't think it's overly penalised, is it? I'm pretty sure we've had a few fights this year and it's just
the 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it's when I don't know, if someone's not willing to fight, the other one dropped the gloves and started punching them, then you will probably get a ban, but which is understandable really. I mean, I don't know, but
So next question I've got here for you guys is, how do you feel dealing with the pressure when you're not performing from the fans? Do you feel like you get a lot of aggro from them, or you guys are performing enough?
I think the Leeds fans are really positive. I think they're always just.
It's also easy when you've kind of been fortunate to be winning quite a lot.
Yeah. But even when we're kind of down, they still just.
They are.
They never really actually.
No,
shout
they
at
understand as well, though. It's a bit more understanding in that league because a lot of guys have full-time jobs and whatnot, and they are there to enjoy it a bit more. Whereas I think Elite League's definitely more a lot of pressure from the fans in terms of performance. Like again, I've had a few rough years at Glasgow where it kind of did get on top of you, and we didn't make playoffs or whatever, and we're not performing to the level that a club of that size should be performing. And it can get hard, but it can get really hard actually. It can get quite toxic in rooms, like especially if like people don't think other people are performing to their best when they're given their role. It feels unfair, and it just snowballs and snowballs. But I mean, I think that fans have also got to remember that as frustrated as they are, like the players are way more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody goes out there to lose, or maybe if you get to that point where you're just trying too hard, do you know what I mean? And if you've been there everyday life when you want something so much, you actually just way too many mistakes, even if you just sit back. And I think that kind of happened around my testimonial. We had a bit of a bad slide, and then I had my testimonial just before COVID. I think we just started to come back up again. Maybe we just step back, and I don't know. It's funny that you get get momentum shifts in sport. And like I say, like as long as your team is quite tight knit, I think we're very, very fortunate that in Leeds. Like I don't think we've really lost more than 2 in a row ever. That's down to having a good coach, having a good setup, having experienced guys coming down from elite league, guys who are young and going to be elite league players, going to be elite league stars in the next few years, and then young guys who are actually quite naive in a good way because they've never been through it. So if we can teach them, it's not so bad. Like what we're trying to say, it's difficult. It's definitely difficult. And maybe I'm looking at it different to how I would if you'd asked me this 10 years ago. I'd probably say it's really hard. And maybe I've got other life distractions to
exactly. So have you guys got a favourite music for the dressing room?
I'm not the DJ in any room, but Jordan.
Well, yeah,
depends what mood Jordan's in.
Yeah.
If Jordan's grumpy, then it's normal music. But if it's Jordan's upbeat, let's say upbeat. That's a good way to describe it. I feel like you and I beat her sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. I like all my party music. I think, well, Kieran Brown, he obviously captain, he's in charge of the music, but me and him got very similar, like to it, and if we feed off each other enough, then we can turn the place into it.
So is there any, like you're talking about music then, so is there any specific artists, or is it just all DJs and stuff like you listen to?
Yeah, DJs like house music.
Big beats.
Then I beat a month ago now, and that's what I just love, just the music DJs that is, bring a lot of it back and give people some sore heads that don't like it.
Away from hockey, what's your favourite film or TV? What do you like watching?
So what? Like, it sounds a bit cliche saying I don't really watch TV much, but like normal TV, don't really watch it. But I started a bit late that Breaking Bad. I finished that just last week, so I think that was pretty cool.
See, if it's for me, I like watching things after they've been totally finished, so they've been released for a few years and you can just binge watch them. I hate, like, just recently I started watching, it was at Cobra Kai, and I watched the whole season of that, and then I got to the end of it, and then I had to wait for the next episodes, and I was like, this is rubbish.
I don't know, I used to watch TV when you have to wait a week for the next episode and stuff.
So this then brings me into my next question about like TV and film. We'll have a film star here, so how did you get into your film that you were in? And what was the name of it?
I know there was a film when I was in Canada when I was playing there. It was towards, well, this was then, I was stayed with a family over there, Felicia's. They kind of took me on, and I lived with them when I played in Toronto, so I went over for the next 2 years after that to the hockey school just to kind of for a pre-season, and it was the guy Mario, he owned like a kind of embroidery company, so he was customise all jerseys, well, jackets, like everything, all clothing. So he was actually doing the jerseys for the movie, and it was just by chance. He was like, the kind of director came in, and he was like, are you looking for it? He just kind of said, do you want an extra guy, an extra kind of hockey player to play? He's here from Scotland, blah blah. He's like, yeah, bring along, it's fine. I'll see. Now I was thinking, I'll just be on the sidelines, just not really doing anything, and then just all of a sudden doing, on you go, and I'm playing against like Yashin, and I'm like, I like Yashin, I'm like, what is going on right now? And there was even NHL guys that were there, kind of a couple guys that were there, and it's just like, that's so surreal. And then the actor Baldwin, he was there as well, and but seeing how much production, like how much effort goes into a movie, like it's unbelievable. I thought we were going to be there for about an hour. It turned out to be in about 6-7 hours. I was there till about 2 a.m. I had to be up at 6, I think, for the hockey school the next day. So I was knackered, but no, it was definitely worth it. And then it just came out by shot. They announced that it was out on Amazon. I think it was the family I stayed with said, oh, by the way, have you seen it yet? I'm like, what? And I just flicked on, and there it was. And I had never seen it. And then I was on it quite a few wee bits, so it was quite cool.
What movie is that?
It's on Amazon Prime. It was the last big save. It's like sort of cool movie sort of.
That's one for the dressing room for them to get up to.
Yeah, I know.
The next time you're on a long,
quiet all these years.
long bus journey, right, boys? Let's get this on.
Oh, yeah.
So, who's your NHL team?
I don't really watch it, to be honest. I've never really been into it.
Whoever's winning. I don't know. I wanted to watch the Maple Leafs. I mean, that's a standard one, I think, for everyone. That was the first game I had to watch, but I actually went and watched it, and I was supporting. It was the Red Wings were playing. I actually preferred them because they had that suit playing, and I always loved him. So
Good man.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a story that I said in the last videos that we've done. Derek Rail, when he was over here, they're obviously quite a bit of a character. His girlfriend, basically Pamela, had got in touch with her and we found out that obviously Derek was involved with the Red Wings organisation, or his dad was. So Pam got me a Detroit Red Wings top with my name and my number on it and got it signed by the whole team. So I got it for one of my birthdays, which was quite cool. If you're a Red Wings fan, obviously you've got it signed Drew Miller up on the wall, and soon to have a Matt Haywood and Jordan Buesa one somewhere on here as well at some point. So, favourite food, what would you say? Is this one of these ones where you have to watch because your coach will be like...
For me,
What, like pre-game food or just food?
Yeah, pre-game food.
pre-game.
Pre-game or in general?
Pre-game's just really just pastas for me, really. Yeah. Just standard. In general, for
Chicken
me,
rice.
Yeah, Spanish food.
Paella.
Yeah, being Spanish, so I just love it.
Don't know. Can't be a Sunday roast, can you?
Go ahead, man. That's quite good. I wouldn't like to try and eat one of them before playing a game, though.
Listen, when I was young, I used to have like fish and chips before a game on a Saturday or whatever. And now, the thought of that, I could not. If I have like one too many bits of pasta or whatever, I can feel it in my heartburn.
We've got a guy in the Blackhawks team that I used to play with, Stuart Lonsdale. He used to play down in Durham, and before his pre-game ritual was having a steak bake. He'll eat a steak bake or a sausage roll before he goes on.
Oh, there's some people that can just do it.
Just
no matter what they eat, they'll not put the weight on. They look like they're super, and it will not affect them. Whereas like if I one bite of chocolate, and I'd be like, I'm doing that.
I eat chocolate during a game a little bit here and there. So
yeah, packs of elbows.
Oh yeah, I guess.
And stealing off teas.
Try and get as much energy as I can get.
So long-term ambitions away from ice hockey?
I think I just started a new job, so project managing. So I just probably get quite established in that. I think that's my term. I think once hockey's finished, then focus on the kids and let them do whatever they want to do. I mean, they're giving their weekends up with Jenny and coming down, not really been able to do clubs themselves, just supporting me. So I think it's time to stop being selfish and let them enjoy stuff I enjoyed growing up.
Yeah, for me, well, still hopefully I can play hockey for as long as I can. As long as I'm healthy, I'm always really want to play. It's a game I love since I started it in my life, but also just with work, working with my dad and doing that. And yeah, maybe one day being like Matt, getting a family and all this kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I just kind of one day at a time. I don't really like to look too far. See what's happening tomorrow, and that's it.
So if that one's a crap question, it came out of the power play. That was out one of the back of the power play questions. So the last question I've got for you guys is, how could British hockey be improved? Is that a controversial subject, or is it?
That's how long you got. I mean, I've got to give it credit. Like, everyone bashes it a lot, but there's a lot of good people that do a lot of good things. And I know there's people that do challenge a lot of stuff for the right reasons. I know a few podcasts and whatever. I'm not saying they're controversial, but they definitely standing up for what's right and challenging for the good of the players and things like that. I'd probably say player welfare could be a good way. I think it's very lean towards, especially the top end, is very lean towards fan kind of enjoyment, which is obviously right because it's business and whatever. But I think player welfare kind of gets overlooked a lot. I know a lot of fans don't really realise it, but guys don't make that much money, and they don't really get looked after it's kind of finished. Maybe that's one area that could be looked into, and maybe a union could be set up, or I know there's like an NHLPA or whatever. So that could be one route. I know it's very, very difficult because it's different associations. There's obviously Scotland hockey, there's English ice hockey, which includes the GB ice hockey, and it's all a bit of a mess. That's one area that I think could be improved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point Matt's made. For me, maybe just kind of hockey wise, so I think just maybe if it gets more TV coverage, I think, like, see, kind of just watching the Olympics was on, and you've seen all these different sports, and you're like thinking, like kids watching it going, maybe I could try that. And I think just even, I know there's a lot of politics going into TV deals and whatnot, but I mean, even if the BBC or something was to cover it a lot more back in the day that you used to, and I think that maybe contributed for a lot of the success they have now for all these, a lot of people playing hockey. So, I mean, if anything to try and grow it, it's probably through that way.
Pretty sure we used to have a Sky, once a week Sky kind of highlight show. I'm sure like Simpson did it. Yeah, sure he did that. That's when I was the last early years I was at the clan. So yeah, I mean that's gone away.
Cool. Well, thanks very much for your time. Thanks very much for coming. I appreciate it. Oh, that's the mic away. So guys, that's obviously the end of the video. We hope that you enjoyed the video and the interview with Matt and Jordan. If you did, please like, share and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Keep it gold-blooded.